What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are in the office slash workshop slash second bedroom slash where I work on my bikes. Today we are going to be installing a MRP chain guide on Santa Cruz. They don't come factory with a chain guide or a chain tightener, whatever you want to call them. So I've had some issues in the past with my old Santa Cruz where the front crank is hitting the ground too often. And so I figured let's try and see if we can fix that a little bit. Add a chain protector, see how I like it. Had one on my downhill bike and other bikes, so no stranger to this. So let's go ahead and get this thing installed. It's super easy. I'm going to show you a couple tricks and tips to get this installed easier and maybe a little bit faster. And then also go through some of the upgrades I've done to the bike. So without further ado, let's hop into the bike. So working our way to the front, we obviously got to take the front crank off in order to access these bolts and then put the chain guide on there. So one trick, when you're going to head and take off this chain guide, the crank it's going to be an 8mm. That's kind of standard on most bikes these days. Some still do pinch bolts, but one thing I learned, this is going to be super tight. If you've never taken this off from the factory, it is on there really snug. So one thing I did, instead of pulling the pedal and holding it right here, you're going to want to go ahead and put the bike on the ground and stand on that left pedal as you go ahead and start applying torque to this side. As you can see, I've already loosened it. Hurt my hand a few times trying to get it off, so don't need that on camera. But once you do get it that first turn out of the way, it comes off quite easy. So be careful. There's going to be washers and grease. You obviously don't want that getting everywhere. So we're going to go ahead and put this off to the side. As you can see, with the crank off, remember, watch out for those bearings, things like that. You can see these are bolts that we're going to need to go ahead and insert. Depending on your chain guide or bash guard, whatever you want to call it, they're going to include different hardware. All the bolts on here are black, so I'm going to go with the black one. They provide washers. This one happens to be a 4mm. So typically, you just want to go ahead, line it up. You're going to want to adjust it here in a minute, but put this on like that. Take your Allen key. I'm doing this really awkward for some reason. Oh, and with stuff like this where there's multiple bolts going on, I like to go ahead and just thread one on there real quick. Oh, and then tighten them all in here in a second. Alright, as you can see, it's on there tight. It's still moving around, so you can still adjust it. But as you can see with this kit, they do provide additional spacers. Let's see if the camera will catch that. So these are thicker. These aren't your normal spacer, right? So these are for the backside in order to push it out, which we're going to go ahead and test out here in a second. If this thing is too far close to the frame, we're going to go ahead and need to take these off, put these spacers on, and pull it out. And if that's the case, we're then going to need these longer bolts, just because looking at the how tight these bolts are in there, they're not going to have enough threads with these spacers on. So next step, you're going to go ahead and remove this bolt. This will make this a lot easier. See, it just takes this off. We're going to go ahead and put the crank back on, and we're going to slide this down on once that's on, just so that we're not trying to line stuff up just yet. We can do that here in a moment. So let's try this again. Take your chain. I don't know why I keep doing this so weird. Come on. Come on. Come on. Stay on that. Stay on there. And obviously I'm doing this just because I'm doing it this way. Doesn't mean you have to. Oh, that picture is going to fall. So, I'm going to push it on. There we go. It's on. And then you're going to go ahead and take your 8mm and tighten it back in there. Just to kind of put everything back together so we're not moving around weird. Leave it loose. A lot of stuff with bikes, make sure to leave it loose until you're done. Okay. Let's take this chain guide and pray it fits the first time. Oh, come on. There we go. Dude. Biking stuff just doesn't like to align with me. There we go. All right. So, just gonna go ahead and finagle this in there. There we go. There we are. All right, one thing, don't take this all the way off, just pull it up as high as you can so it's out of the way. And make sure when you're tightening these back, the cranks back on, make sure they are opposite of the other side. That would have been awkward. So, I'm just gonna loosen that. Probably good. Just again, don't want to tighten any of this stuff just yet. And then, as you can see, once it's on there, you can still access the bolts all the way down. And there you go. Simple as that. As simple as that. As you can see. Line that up, focus. Lines up really nice. Didn't have to do any adjustments. You're gonna want to go down, tighten those quite tight, all bolts. Obviously you're gonna want to really tighten down your crank. So do that same process. Make sure to step on this side with your foot, with it down, and then really crank down on that crank. It needs to be super tight so it doesn't come loose. And that is pretty much it as far as that goes. As I had also said, I'm going to show you kind of what else I've done to the bike so far. As I'm sure you can tell, I did a horrible job in wrapping my bike, tons of bubbles. So I went ahead and clear brought the bike, went ahead and added a bike holder. And then if we open this up, pull this out. Let's see what we got in here. So I can do the one hand. As you can see, this thing is packed to the brim. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. So, what I went ahead and did, 2 CO2 cartridges, Crank Brothers, multi-tool, tire taker offer thing, whatever you want to call that, and then a patch kit. All those are shoved into this little taco thing that you roll up and shove back into the frame. You can also fit a tube in there. And then also went ahead and got some pedals. These are the Crank Brothers, their newest one. It's a clip-in. I ride clip-ins, so, and then it's kind of cool. You can also do non-clip-in, but I do ride clips. But without further ado, I hope you enjoyed that real quick and easy tutorial with those tips. The hardest part is going to be getting the cranks off the first time. They're on there super tight. You need a lot of leverage. If you have somebody to help you, that's good, but you really need a lot of leverage. And then it's a matter of just tweaking the things as you put it all back together. So super easy. Hopefully this helped you put your chain guide on at home rather than needing to take it into a bike shop. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments. But without further ado, I appreciate it. So make sure to hit the subscribe button and like button. I'll see you guys in the next one.